Somebody asked me a question about what do I think of buying properties in the Philippines if you're Canadian, and is it worthwhile for you to buy property in the Philippines? And I thought there's a quite interesting contrast because um, I've, I've done many deals in the Philippines where I sold many pre-constructions condos, and I also practice real estate in Toronto. So I could tell you the pros and cons and what to watch out for when buying properties in the Philippines, especially in the pre-constructions sector. And I thought I'm qualified to talk about this because of my experience. At one point, I was one of the a top salesperson for developers for one of the respectable developers in the Philippines from North America. So with my experience, I think I am qualified to talk about this, and I thought that I would share with you my experience and what do I think of if you're going to be buying properties in the Philippines if you're Canadian. Um, so if you ask me a questions, if it's worth it for you to buy property in the Philippines, if you're Canadian, what I would tell you is that it all depends on what you want to do. Because, and I said that because if your purpose is to invest in the if you're Canadian, if your purpose is to invest in a property in the Philippines that is self-sustaining, meaning that you're going to be relying on the rental income to finance the condo, for example, that you are going to be buying in the Philippines, and you're from here, Toronto, and you're gonna have the developer to do the management for you, then I would say that it's not a very wise investment for you. It's not the best route for you to go. You would rather invest your money in Toronto, because majority of the time, or um, the the people that is buying properties in the Philippines is people from overseas. And the problem with the Philippines is that it's easy to buy a pre-construction in the Philippines because it's cheaper. The down payment is staggered in a 5 years term, which probably is just gonna be costing you about like $600 at the most. It's like equivalent to you buying a brand new car. Um, but the real problem is reselling it once you have it, once it turned over to you, because most of the people, like I said, that is buying this property are from North America. The people that is making dollars, the people that is from North America, Asia, Middle East, and 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 for these people to buy a property in the Philippines, they have to have like reliable people there. And unfortunately, in the Philippines, there's not much of a brokerage when it comes to a resale that have license. Although there's some people there that is licensed, it's not the same thing as what we do in North America. In North America, we have an MLS system that is all the people that is doing a resale, that's selling a resale in North America are licensed people. So if anything were to go wrong in the transaction, your deposit is safe. But in the Philippines, if I were to buy something there, I'm not gonna just transfer my deposit down there in the Philippines in the brokerage that I didn't know of. How do I know that these people would take is not gonna take off with my money, right? And this is the challenge of reselling the properties in the Philippines. And I don't care what anybody says there. This is the reality. If people tell you that it's easy, they don't know what how to sell property from North America. And the people here is not gonna just hand you money in the Philippines if they don't trust you. So that's what the challenge is. And also the the other challenge that you will have buying properties in the Philippines is that it's very hard to find valuations, because when I was selling there, I was relying on information that was given to me by the developers. So numbers, it's very hard to do validations, because there's no such thing as like MLS system. There is no, for example, in North America we have a TREB, Toronto Real Estate Board, where they have all the informations of the properties that's sold. So you can really get the evaluations of the true market value of the property. But in the Philippines, it's very hard to get that. So the information that you might have, it's not probably the most accurate information. So that's something that you have to watch out for. And also, when it comes to red tapes, man, this is the thing that really grinds my gear in the Philippines, is the red tapes. For you to ask information from the people in the Philippines, it's very hard. I guess what I learned about the Philippines is that their business philosophy, their way of doing business is very different than what we do in North America. In North America, we're very a straightforward person. We're very straightforward when it comes to a business. If you tell something to a client, that should be it. In the Philippines, developers sometimes, most of the time, will flip-flop on your contract. If you don't read your contract correctly, they can change it, and once they say something, that should be it. Their word takes a precedence on what you sign. So this is something to watch out on. And I've seen many cases where I had to fight with people at the head office, the people that my contacts, and my contacts are big people. They're like already in the like higher up, HR, a director of like HR, vice president, director of sales, and I'm still had problems like communicating like with them. It's just their business culture is a different. And I have nothing against them. I've met a lot of good people. It's just the way they do business. It's not something that the way that I do business in North America. So these are something that you should watch out on, is that it's very hard to find a concrete information in the Philippines, especially if you're gonna be reselling your property, because you don't want to have a property that you're gonna get stuck on, and you can't sell it if you really want to sell it and get your money back. Now, if you ask me a question about if your purpose is that you're in Canada, for example, and you're just a temporary here, and you want to go back to the Philippines for good, and you just want to have and you just want to save money, and you want to buy a property there, and you're gonna be there in the future, then it might work out for you, because again, the Philippines is growing. Their GDP is very strong, and I can see there's a potential when it comes to like real estate in the Philippines. But as long as you have somebody to manage in the Philippines, and then it should be good for you. Some people, or most developers, including the developers that I deal with, their concept is that they will tell you something that will manage it for you, will look after it for you for a fee and things like that, and it's easy, and all you have to do is just collect rent. In reality, it doesn't work like that. It's not what they say how it's gonna work out, or it will turn out to. Because if you think about it, really, let's just say, for example, one developers, if they have like hundreds of like units in their building, in their condo, and if majority of people are from North America, for example, and they're doing the same thing as what you're doing, like you wanna have a property and you wanna rent it out, and a majority of the people, let's say it's about like 90% of people that is buying property in the Philippines, by the way, are from North America. So if these people are doing the same thing as what you're doing, what are the chances of your unit getting rented on? So the last thing that you want to have is that is you want to buy something and you're paying for it out of your pocket. So instead of having an investment, you have a liability. So this is something that you should watch out on. So the bottom line is that if your purpose is to have a self-sustaining property, that, and you're from here and you're gonna be here, and you just want to have it for the purpose of investments, then you got to be careful, because it might not be the right path for you, the right options for you. But if you're gonna be in the Philippines for good, and you're just here for a temporary basis, and you're gonna be there and you're gonna enjoy that property in the future, well, then it might work out for you, because now is a good chance for you to buy a property, because their economy is really growing.